Is your front rack mobility holding you back in a workout? When you get to a clean or a front squat, do you think, how the hell am I meant to hold on to this bar? And as I squat, my elbows end up falling forward. And as I try and stand the squat up, because I'm out of balance, I end up on my toes. Well, if this is you, stay tuned, because in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to show you some simple stretches that will absolutely change the way you feel about your front rack mobility and hopefully get you into some better positions. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
So, guys, I wanted to give you a view of what a front rack might look like that you're familiar with. So, as you can see here, my elbows are dropping forward. There's a lot of pressure on my wrists. And as a result, that bar path is starting to move forward. I paused it here. The bar should be much closer to my center of mass, i.e. on my delts. My body should be upright. And as a result of the mobility issues I've got going on here, that just isn't the case. So, here I've done it from the rack. So again, you'll be able to see where my elbows are. Now, what we're looking for is those elbows to be pointing fully forward with a good grip on the bar. At the moment, my fingers are pretty much the only thing on the bar, and my elbows aren't pointing as far forward as I would like. Not too bad. They're not pointing down necessarily at that point, but we want them a lot higher. So, first position we're going to get into is a front rack elbow pass through. So, what I'll do is I will try and work through probably 10 or so rotations on each side, trying to get the elbows nice and high and trying to really loosen off the lats and the wrists, etc. Next, I'll go into a front rack hold. So this is a really good position to try and get into. Sometimes it might be easier with a bit of load on the bar to hold that bar down into yourself on the rack. If you've got a partner, they'll be able to also push your elbows up and hold that for maybe 15, 20 seconds or so. Let it off, try again, try and get a bit higher. For some people, having it on a back rack is a much better position and you can really get your elbows into it. For me, I find this a bit better of a stretch for me. Next, we're going to move into a med ball stretch. So this is going to do a couple of things. It's going to really open up the thoracic spine. It's really going to stretch off your lats and your triceps all at the same time. This is a really good movement that I like to do pretty much every front squat session I do, just to help myself get into a really good position. You'll see here I'm going to spend a couple of minutes just trying to find a good position. I'll go from holding the position. Here you'll see me trying to drop my hips to just get a little bit more of a stretch through the upper back, through the lats. I'll also have a kettlebell behind my head just so I can stay anchored into that position and I can really get a nice stretch. Next, what I'll try and do is I'll try and use that kettlebell and go through some ranges of motion. So trying to almost bring that kettlebell above my head and then lower it back down. I find that really works well to open up my lats and stretch off my triceps. This is a really good stretch that I really do like. Next is a lat smash. So what I'm going to do here is really try and work on my lats, try and find any tender points. And as you'll see here, I'm just going to try and stay on that position for maybe 20 or 30 seconds. Just stay on that one spot, moving my arm, not necessarily moving the lat, and really try and work that tightness out of the lat. You'll see here, I'm just going to take my arm forward and back just on that tender point. And then what that should hopefully do is just ease off any tight spots in your lat. Like I said before, lats are a big component to your mobility in a front rack. Many people might think it's just down to your wrists, but actually it's down to, for me, if not the most part, the lats and triceps. So here I'm going to spend a good couple of minutes just trying to work out any tightness, get that mobility into my lats, and now ultimately yield a much better front rack position for me. So here you'll see I'm just going to keep going until I find any more spots before I move on. Not to neglect the wrist mobility. Wrists are also a big factor of this. But like I said, it's not the do-all or end-all. I will spend some time just on wrist mobility. So starting with my fingers facing forward, I'm just going to lean into it where it feels comfortable and just try and hold that position. Rock back and try and get a bit further. Next, I'll turn my palms facing towards me. I'll feel a little bit more of a stretch in my forearms. Here, I'm just going to sit back on my heels a little bit, just where it feels comfortable. Hold it, release off, and then try and get a little bit lower in that stretch. And then I'll just go from side to side. It's really good just to loosen up the wrists and then try and get, hopefully, a fuller grip on the bar. Next, really good one for me is a dead hang. Just from a rig, I'm just going to jump up with a supinated grip, i.e. your palms facing towards you as opposed to away from you. And then I'm just going to ease myself down into a dead hang. I'm going to stay here for maybe 20 or 30 seconds, jump off, shake it off. I'm going to do the same again. Some people like to go up into a full chin up, really slow themselves down on that descent, and then set down at the bottom of the dead hang. That's a great stretch too. Finally, I'm going to come into a banded tricep slash lat stretch. So this is a really good one because you can really work into those lats. You can really get your tricep fully extended and really start to ease that off. I'll just sit here for maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds. And again, I'll alternate through arms, see how it all feels. And hopefully, after all this, I will have a much better position for my bar. So here is a look of what it looks like after I've done the stretches. So there was about 7 stretches there. This could probably take 5 to 10 minutes depending on how quickly you can move through them and where your priorities are. As you can see here, my elbows now are facing fully forward. I've got a much better grip on the bar, and that bar is pretty much on my delts, touching the top of my throat. It's a very comfortable position. At the beginning, it definitely wasn't. And as you can see here, as I squat, my elbows are still nicely facing forward, they're not dropping, and as a result, that bar path, if you watch it, stays over kind of mid-foot, as opposed to where it was at the beginning, where I was really far forward on my toes, and that bar was getting ahead of me. So if any weight was on that bar, it would start to feel really heavy really quickly. As you can see here, a great comparison. Now, clearly, this was cold, and now I'm warm. It's just night and day. So if front rack mobility is something that holds you back, this is really something that you could work on quite quickly and have a massive impact on how movement may feel to you. If you are one that definitely struggles with that position in a front squat and you find it's just the front rack, the weights often aren't the problem, but it's getting a comfortable position on the bar, give this a go before your next workout. Let me know how you get on. These are only 7 stretches, and I know there's lots more stretches to do. These are just my go-to. Let me know in the comments below which ones you normally do and what ones you would recommend to a friend if they were having trouble. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. Thanks again for watching. If you are new to my channel, please do subscribe. All the subscribers do help massively in my quest to try and get this channel going somewhere great. Thanks again, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.
Yeah.